Hey there, this is Derek Henry with XLEV8 Consulting, and in this how-to video we're going to talk about the Select Picker. Now this is one that offers you a lot of options on how to select a cell, and why would you do that? Because you're looking for something, you need to update a formula, you need to update a format or a value or whatever really. Now the default shortcut for this is Control-Shift and J, and it's a picker with several different commands that you can enable. Now we're going to go from top to bottom here. Option B, which remember you can set the default here. Option B is my default. That's going to select from the cell all the way to the bottom, even skipping over blank rows. Okay, so see how it's going to select everything all the way to the very bottom there. Now that's helpful because you can press Control Shift and the arrows, but it only goes to the last cell in the range. It doesn't skip over blanks, so this offers you the ability to do that. Now if we go back up to the top here, let's say we run this again. We want to pick option R. It does the same thing but to the right. Okay, so it picks everything to the right, even going over the blanks. Now let's say we want to do both at the same time. We would run this, we would press BR, it will select to the bottom and then to the right, jumping over all the blank cells. You know, basically shortcutting the arrow key shortcut. Now the next one is W. That's going to select the entire row, or rows if you have multiple selected. Now there's other shortcuts to do these, but when you get into this, I know all my things are in one menu place, this might often be a better option for you. So that's going to offer you to select one or more rows. Let's talk about columns. That is option C. So if you have one or more columns, it will pick all of the columns. Now this one kind of messed up a little bit because I've got some merged cells. I didn't make it that way, it exported that way. I'm not a fan of merging cells, most Excel experts aren't. So that will select the column or columns. Let's run it again on this one so you can see. It'll select the entire column, right? Not everything, because that had some merging going on there. Now let's see here. U is going to select all used cells. Okay, so starting with cell A1 all the way down to the bottom right cell that's being used, it's going to select down there. Option A is selecting all cells in the entirety of the worksheet. Notice it goes well beyond the used cells. That's just everything, right? Now, the next option, cells matching values. That's kind of a cool one. So if you select an entire range, okay, let's say that we're doing that. We're going to press BR. Now we got everything in our income statement here selected. This is one that's very similar to what I had to use in the past. Let's say we want to select everything with a value. We're going to press M, and we're going to put in the word sales. It will select just the cells matching that. That's kind of cool because you might want to highlight the ones matching something in a pinch. That gives you an option to do it very quickly. Now next, we're going to do individual cells in a selection. So let me back out here. I'm going to select a few cells. You can only do this with up to about 70 cells, so it's not going to do the whole worksheet. But let's say you want to select individual cells because you're going to do some specific formatting, especially borders. That's a big one, that if you want to have individual cells selected, it gives you more options. Otherwise it just does on the edges of the entire selection. So we've got this selected here. We're going to run it. We're going to pick option I. It's going to select the individual cells in a selection. Notice how it's got the little selection. You can kind of see the lines between them. So if you want to apply something just to individual cells, that'll help you do it. And then let's say we want to pick a shape. Now S is going to help us do that. So when you have a cell selected and the top left edge of the shape is in that cell, this will let you select it. So press S and it selects the little happy face. And when you have that selected, the contextual menu pops up that shows you formatting. So maybe we want to give it a different fill color, right? We want to make it yellow because that's the way usually you see the sun, right? Well, you can just click it with a mouse, that's true, but if you're really going nuts with keyboard shortcuts and you have a lot of them to select, or there's a bunch of them and you don't really want to use a mouse, this gives you that option, and you can use any formatting macros or shortcuts that you have for that. And then the last couple of here, I'm going to go to another sheet for this one. Let's say we want to select this range. It is a range name or it is a address like A10 or something like that. We're going to run it and we're going to use option J, which launches another macro called the Jump To Picker, but these are so intimately related that they're linked here. Let's say we want to use option V to go to the cell value. Now there's a lot of other things in here, but that's the one I tend to use most personally when I'm jumping to this. So option V is going to jump to the cell address or name that has that, okay? Well, that's in this other sheet here. So it jumps to this range right here. You see how it even shows you the name range box. that one could be pretty helpful if you're trying to navigate around and you don't want to have to do it manually. And you've got a whole bunch of values or cell addresses or names that you're working with. Just iterate through them and do whatever you're going to do with them. And then lastly, we're going to combine a couple of things. Let's say that we run everything to the bottom. So option B here. We've got everything picked in this one column, and we do some formatting or something, and then we want to then go to the exact same block, but to the right or up or down or left or something. So we're going to run it again. And option L is a block picker. Now again, that's a separate macro, but these are really related. So when you run that, it gives you the options to go L for left, R for right, U for up, or D for down. We want to go right, and that's the default. Usually you work your way left to right. So that's the default I'd recommend. And it goes right. You don't have to reselect all those same exact rows within the column. It just goes right. So if you do it again, it just goes right. We can iterate through that if you're going to make a bunch of formatting changes or formulas or whatever it is that you're doing. So a lot of options to help you select things more easily, and again, keep your hands off the mouse because that slows you down when you get deep into these workbooks that have a lot of formulas and tables and things going on. So hopefully you found that helpful. Thanks for your time and have a great rest of your day.